wrote a letter to the Galatians around 50 AD to a group of newly converted Christians who had reverted to their pagan ways. The purpose of the letter to the Galatians is to discourage them from their relapse to paganism, but also to spread the word of the legislature between Jewish Christians and Christians decided in the Council of Jerusalem. In the introduction to the Galatians, he shares that he is a follower of Christ, converted from Judaism. He also establishes arguably the most important concepts of Christianity, the Trinity and Christ's resurrection from the dead. Paul then talks about the importance of loyalty to the gospel and the laws that were put in place by the Lord. He spoke about paganism in relation to the Galatians and their relapse after being converted to Christianity. He worried that the Galatians were going down the wrong path. Paul said that the Galatians would be cursed if they continued to follow false gospels. Paul also states, if I were still trying to please people, I would not be a slave of Christ, stressing the importance of preaching what was right, not simply what people want to hear, regardless of the persecution due to addiction. As Paul continued to write, he informs the Galatians about defending his gospel. He preaches that Christianity, unlike the paganism of the Galatians religion, is of divine origin and not human origin, as God set up the church first through Moses and then through Christ. He also stresses the importance of acknowledging that sacred scripture is divinely inspired. He talks about his past days and how he converted from being a member of the Sanhedrin, who persecuted Christians, to a believer and follower of Christ. In this conversation, he is often depicted falling off a horse while Christ calls out to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" However, there is no mention of Paul falling off a horse in Scripture. He also speaks about the Council of Jerusalem, the first council ever held by the church to make rules for the Jews, converting to Christianity, and Gentiles converting to Christianity, especially regarding circumcision. This came up when Paul's brief travel buddy Titus was with him in Jerusalem, but wanted to be circumcised to be Christian. Paul was instructed to preach to the uncircumcised. Paul then went through some periods of inconsistency at Antioch, in which Paul found that Peter was preaching incorrectly on the topic of circumcision. Like a faith and liberty, Paul addresses the Galatians, "O stupid Galatians," referring to their pagan ways and little faith in the Gospels. Paul states that those who have faith are the children of Abraham, fulfilling God's promise that Abraham's descendants would be more numerous than the stars in the sky. He adds that the Gentiles are blessed also, and are brothers and sisters of Christ regardless of sin. He states, "Cursed by everyone who does not persevere in doing all things written in the book of law." He says that innocent children obeying their parents in the corrupt society around them are the same as slaves, but they are the children of God with free will. They are no longer slaves but children and heirs with Christ. We are like the children who are set free. An allegory is made of Hagar and Sarah, representing the two children Abraham had. Ishmael was quite literally born a slave, and Isaac was also born a slave, but he was set free in God's covenant. Descendants of Abraham and Isaac are children of promise. Next, Paul addresses rules and regulations of the Christian life. As this was around the time of the Council of Jerusalem, he brings up the issue of circumcision once again. In a nutshell, he states if you are circumcised, you are proclaiming yourself as a member of the Jews and not the Christians, denying that Christ is Messiah. He also references the Last Supper and Christ's call to service to the washing of feet. We have the freedom to serve another as our call and our decision. It is our responsibility to serve our brothers and sisters as Christ has and does serve us. Paul concludes his letter to the Galatians by once again stressing the importance and the love associated with Christ's death on the cross, and the beauty and significance of him conquering the dead in his resurrection.
Who breaks the power?